Listen to me. Every single morning you get up is a gift. Every breath you take is an opportunity. And I'm telling you today, the difference between those who win and those who lose is not talent. It's not luck. It's not what family they were born into. It's that they rise and they grind. They wake up every single day with a purpose and refuse to waste the 24 hours they've been given. You have to make a decision that no matter how you feel, you're going to show up. The grind doesn't care about your feelings. The grind doesn't care if you're tired, if you're broke, if you're hurting. It only rewards those who put in the work. When you rise and grind, you stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. You stop blaming your past, your circumstances, and start saying, this is on me. My future is in my hands. Because if you want success as bad as you want to breathe, then every morning you wake up, you're going to chase it until you get it. Rise and grind starts with owning your mornings. Because the truth is, your morning is the most valuable part of your day. And most people waste it. They hit the snooze button 3, 4, 5 times. They roll over, grab their phone, scroll social media, check notification. And before they even put their feet on the floor, they've already let the world control them instead of them controlling the world. If you're serious about success, you got to flip that. You got to wake up with intention, with purpose, with energy, and say to yourself, if this is my day, this is my time, this is my moment, and I will not let it slip through my fingers. The way you start your morning dictates how you finish your day. If you start lazy, distracted, slow, your entire day will follow that same rhythm. But if you start with clarity, with focus, with drive, you set yourself up to win from the first second you wake up. It's about taking responsibility for those first few hours when your mind is fresh, your body is rested, and your spirit is ready. That's when you have the most power to decide how your day is going to look. You can't leave that to chance. You can't leave it to your emotions because emotions are inconsistent. You might not feel like getting up early. You might not feel like praying, meditating, exercising, reading, writing, or hustling, but success does not care how you feel. Winners do what they have to do whether they feel like it or not, and that starts from the moment the alarm goes off. The greats get up before the world does. They get their minds right, they get their bodies right, they get their bodies right, and they set the tone. They prepare before the game even starts. And by the time the competition wakes up, they're already 5 steps ahead. Owning your morning is about creating that advantage for yourself every single day. Think about it. If you wake up an hour earlier every day than the average person, that's 7 extra hours a week, 30 extra hours a month, almost 365 extra hours a year. That's 9 full work weeks of time that you can use to build your dreams while everyone else is still asleep. What could you do with that time? You could start a business, learn a new skill, read dozens of books, get your health in check, work on your relationships, plan your next move. Those extra hours compound, just like money does. Over years, that discipline will separate you from the pack. People will wonder how you're achieving so much, but they won't see the quiet mornings when you were grinding before the sun came up. They won't see the sacrifices you made when you chose to invest in yourself instead of wasting time. That's why owning your mornings is not optional if you want to rise and grind. It's essential. Your morning routine should be non-negotiable. Whether it's getting up to work out, journaling, praying, reviewing your goals, or just sitting in silence to visualize the day ahead, it needs to be something that puts you in the right mental state. You have to be proactive, not reactive. Too many people wake up and immediately react to everything. They react to emails, to texts, to news, to other people's problems. And by the time they look up, half the day is gone, and they haven't moved 1 inch closer to their goals. Owning your morning means you control the narrative. You decide what gets your attention first. You feed your mind with positive input. You align yourself with your mission and purpose so that when you step out the door, you're ready to attack whatever comes your way. It's not easy. In fact, the hardest part is getting out of bed when it's dark, when it's cold, when you're tired, when the bed feels so good. That's where the discipline comes in. That's where you prove to yourself that you're serious. You have to break that comfort. Comfort is the enemy of growth. And if you keep letting comfort dictate your actions, you'll never rise to the level you're capable of. When that alarm goes off, you have a choice. Stay where you are and remain the same, or get up and go after what you said you wanted. Every morning is a test, and the ones who pass are the ones who get ahead in life. No one is coming to drag you out of bed. No one is coming to make you do the work. You have to be your own motivator, your own coach, your own alarm clock. That's why they call it rise and grind, because it takes effort to rise. It takes effort to grind. And that effort has to start before the world wakes up. Some of the most successful people in the world will tell you that their success is built in the hours nobody sees. CEOs, athletes, entrepreneurs, they are all up early. They understand that by controlling their mornings, they control their destiny. They don't just wake up early for the sake of waking up. They wake up early to execute a plan, to get their minds sharp, to make progress on their most important goals before distractions creep in. That's why when the rest of the world is reacting, they're already leading. That's why they always seem to have more done by noon than most people do in a full day. They don't have more time. They just use their time differently. And it starts with those first crucial hours. You can build that habit. You can train yourself to own your morning. It starts with preparation the night before. Going to bed at a reasonable time, setting your clothes out, writing down your top 3 priorities for the next day, putting your phone across the room so you can't just roll over and scroll. It's about making a decision ahead of time that tomorrow morning you will rise and grind. And then when the morning comes, you follow through. Even if you're tired, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you have to drag yourself to the bathroom to splash cold water on your face, you do it. Because every time you do, you're building momentum, you're building confidence, you're telling yourself that you are in control. And once you get that first win of the day, just getting up on time and following your plan, it creates a ripple effect. It gives you energy, it gives you clarity. You start your day on offense instead of defense. And that one change can transform your entire life. The power of owning your mornings is not just about productivity, it's about mindset. When you wake up early and take control of your day, you tell yourself that your goals matter, that your dreams matter, that you matter. You stop living life by accident and start living it on purpose. You start to feel proud of yourself because you're keeping promises you made to yourself. That builds self-respect, and self-respect builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Before long, that morning discipline starts spilling into every other area of your life. You eat better because you started the day with intention. You work harder because you already proved to yourself you can do hard things. You focus better because you trained your brain to focus first thing in the morning. Your whole life starts to level up, one morning at a time. So own your mornings. Don't give them away to distraction, to laziness, to excuses. Don't let the day own you. You own the day. Get up before the sun, get ahead of the noise, and set the standard for yourself. Be the type of person who doesn't just talk about what they're going to do, but wakes up and actually does it. It's not going to be easy, but I promise you it will be worth it. Those quiet mornings will become your secret weapon. They will be where you dream, where you plan, where you create, where you grow. And years from now, when people ask you how you built the life you have, you'll smile and say, I own my mornings, I rose, and I grinded. Work before you rest means you flipped the way most people live their lives. Most people wake up late, drag themselves through the day, complain about being tired, and then look for every opportunity to relax, to scroll, to binge watch, to take it easy. They work just enough to get by, and then reward themselves with hours of entertainment, comfort, and distraction, and they wonder why their dreams aren't coming true. If you're serious about rising and grinding, you have to reverse that order. You have to do the work first, put in the grind first. Make sure you've invested every ounce of energy into building your future before you even think about resting. The rest only feels good when you know you earned it. There's a deep satisfaction that comes from laying your head on the pillow at night, knowing you gave it everything you had, that you left no stone unturned, that you didn't waste a single moment. That kind of rest is different. It's earned, not stolen. Working before you rest is about prioritizing the mission over the moment. There will always be moments when you want to stop, when you want to take a break, when you want to just chill for a little bit. But if you haven't done what you said you were going to do, you're robbing yourself. You're robbing your future self of progress. Think about it. If you rest before you work, you're starting the day with a deficit. You're putting comfort before growth, Comfort feels good in the moment, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't build the business. It doesn't improve your health. It doesn't develop your skills. Work is the price you pay to create the life you want. Rest is the reward for paying that price. The order matters. If you mix it up, you lose momentum. You tell your brain that pleasure comes before responsibility. And that's a dangerous message to reinforce day after day. Grinding before you relax also creates a level of discipline that most people will never experience. When you make yourself earn every bit of rest, you build mental toughness. You learn how to push past fatigue, past excuses, past distractions. You train yourself to stay focused even when it's uncomfortable. That's where champions are made. Not when it's easy, but when it's hard and you keep going anyway. The grind has to come first, because the grind is what builds character. Anyone can rest. Anyone can relax. Anyone can waste time. Very few can put their head down and do the work consistently before giving themselves a break. And that's why so few people rise to the top. The ones who do have learned this principle and live by it. There's also something powerful about momentum. When you work first, you build momentum that carries you through the day. Action creates energy. The more you do, the more you want to do. Your brain gets a hit of accomplishment and it drives you to keep going. But when you rest first, when you wake up and scroll, when you sit around and procrastinate, you kill your momentum before it even starts. You make it harder to get into motion because you're teaching yourself to delay effort to avoid the grind. And the longer you delay, the harder it gets. That's why so many people feel stuck, because they build a habit of resting before they work. And now working feels impossible. If you want to break that cycle, you have to flip the script. Do something hard as soon as you can. Get a win under your belt early. Let that victory fuel the next one. Before you know it, you'll have a string of wins stacked up. And by the time you do finally sit down to rest, you'll feel unstoppable. Working before you rest doesn't mean you never take breaks. It doesn't mean you never sleep or have fun. It means you put things first. It means you delay gratification. It means you earn the right to enjoy yourself because you've handled your business. Imagine eating dessert before the meal. Sure, it tastes good, but it ruins your appetite. It spoils the main course and you're left with regret. That's what resting before you work is like. It feels good for a moment, but it leaves you with guilt because you know you haven't done what you were supposed to do. On the other hand, when you eat your meal first, when you do the work, the dessert tastes even better because you know you deserve it. That's the feeling you want every day. The feeling of satisfaction that only comes from doing what needed to be done. There's also a spiritual and emotional component to working before you rest. When you grind first, you honor the gift of time you were given. You show gratitude by using your hours wisely. Every morning you wake up with 24 hours. A full bank account of time, and how you spend it determines the life you live. If you waste those hours on rest before you work, you're throwing away your potential. But if you invest them in work first, you're multiplying them. You're turning those hours into progress, growth, and results that will pay you back for years to come. That's why people who work first tend to live with fewer regrets, because they know they used their time well. They didn't waste it. They didn't let it slip away. They squeezed everything they could out of it before they allowed themselves to rest. It also builds trust with yourself. When you tell yourself, I'll do this task before I relax, and then you actually do it, you prove to yourself that your word matters. You build integrity with yourself. That internal trust is priceless. It gives you confidence. It makes you feel like you can handle whatever life throws at you because you know you'll follow through. But if you constantly rest before you work, you break that trust. You teach yourself that your word doesn't mean much, that your goals don't matter, that your comfort is more important than your commitment. Over time, that erodes your confidence. You stop believing in yourself because you see the pattern of quitting before you even start. Working before you rest reverses that pattern and helps you rebuild that inner faith. This principle applies to every area of life. If you want to get in shape, you have to put in the workouts before you sit on the couch. If you want to grow financially, you have to put in the hours, the learning, the hustle before you spend money on luxury. If you want to improve your relationships, you have to invest the time and effort before you expect to receive love and support. The grind is the foundation. The rest is the decoration. Too many people are trying to decorate a house they haven't even built yet. They want the rewards without the work. They want the harvest without planting the seeds. Life doesn't work that way. The order matters. Plant first, reap later. Work first, rest later. Grind first, shine later. And here's the truth. The more you practice this, the easier it gets. At first, it's hard to push yourself to work when you'd rather rest. It's hard to stay focused when there are so many distractions calling your name. But over time, your brain starts to crave the work because it associates it with progress, with growth, with accomplishment. You start to feel uncomfortable when you haven't done what you said you were going to do. You start to look forward to the grind because you know how good it will feel to relax afterward with no guilt, no anxiety, no unfinished business hanging over your head. That's a freedom most people never experience. The freedom of knowing you've done your job, you've handled your responsibilities, and now you can truly rest. So grind first, put in the hours, do the hard thing, make the calls, write the proposals, hit the gym, study the material, build the business, handle the work before you even think about chilling. Because when you do, not only will you enjoy your rest more, but you'll also start stacking up wins that change your entire life. And years from now, you'll look back and realize that the grind you put in before the rest was what built the life you wanted. The work came first. And because of that, the rest was sweeter, the victories were bigger, and the success lasted longer. That's the power of working before you rest. It puts you in control. It separates you from the crowd. And it turns your dreams into reality, one discipline at a time. Stop waiting for the perfect time because it doesn't exist. And that's the biggest trap most people fall into. They keep telling themselves they'll start when things calm down, when they have more money, when they feel ready, when they have the right connections, when they have the perfect plan. But the truth is, there's no perfect moment. There's no perfect plan. And waiting is just another form of fear disguised as preparation. If you want to rise and grind, you got to start where you are with what you have right now. You have to create opportunities instead of waiting for them to show up. The people who win are not the ones who sit around waiting for doors to open. They are the ones who build their own doors, who knock until their hands bleed, who refuse to accept that someday is a good enough plan. You can't keep putting your dreams on hold for the perfect alignment of circumstances because life will never line up neatly. There will always be problems, distractions, and reasons to delay. And if you keep listening to them, you'll wake up one day with nothing but regrets. Creating opportunities is about taking initiative. It's about deciding that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You might not have been given the best hand in life, but you can still play it well. Too many people spend their whole lives blaming the government, their parents, their bosses, or their luck for why they're not where they want to be. But that mindset keeps them stuck. The moment you take full responsibility for your future is the moment things start to change. You stop waiting for a promotion and start developing the skills that make you undeniable. You stop waiting for someone to discover you and start putting your work out into the world every day. You stop waiting for a break and start making your own breaks by showing up, staying consistent, and putting yourself in positions where good things can happen. The more action you take, the more opportunities you create, because action is a magnet. It attracts people, resources, and chances that sitting still never will. You also have to stop expecting opportunity to look glamorous. Sometimes opportunity comes dressed as hard work. Sometimes it comes disguised as something small, something that doesn't look like a big deal. But if you take it seriously, it becomes the thing that changes your life. Creating opportunities means saying yes to growth, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable. It means volunteering for the tough assignment, staying late to learn something new, taking on projects that stretch you, reaching out to someone who inspires you, starting that side hustle, even if it's slow at first. Opportunity rarely shows up with a sign that says, "This is the one that will make you successful." It usually shows up as a chance to serve, to help, to learn, to grow. And you have to be humble enough and hungry enough to grab it. If you really think about it, the people you admire the most probably weren't handed their opportunities. They created them. They put themselves in the right rooms. They reached out to the right mentors. They built relationships. They invested time. They sacrificed sleep. They stayed consistent when nobody was watching. And eventually they were in the right place at the right time because they had put themselves there. That's not luck. That's strategy, discipline, and persistence. You can do the same thing. You can choose to be proactive instead of reactive. You can choose to make the call instead of waiting for it. You can choose to post your work instead of hoping someone stumbles across it. You can choose to prepare yourself so that when an opportunity does show up, you're ready for it. Too many people pray for an opportunity, but never prepared. And when it finally shows up, they're not ready, so it passes them by. Don't let that be you. Work on your craft. Work on your character. Work on your consistency so that when your shot comes, you can take it. Another part of creating opportunities is refusing to let fear make decisions for you. Fear will keep you on the sidelines forever, convincing you that it's safer to wait, safer to plan, safer to do nothing. But nothing grows in safety. Comfort zones might feel good, but nothing extraordinary happens there. If you want to create opportunity, you have to put yourself in situations where you might fail, where you might look foolish, where you might be rejected. Rejection is not the end, it's just feedback. Every no you get puts you closer to a yes, but only if you keep knocking. That's why grinding is so important. The grind keeps you moving forward even when doors close. It keeps you sharpening your skills so that the next time you get a shot, you're better prepared to take it. And the more shots you take, the more likely you are to hit one. You don't need every door to open. You just need one. And you might have to knock on 100 to find it. Creating opportunities also means being creative. Stop thinking there's only one way to succeed. If one path is blocked, find another. If one method doesn't work, try a new one. Try a new one. Be resourceful. Use what you have. There are countless stories of people who started businesses from their kitchen tables, recorded music in their basements, shot videos with their phones, wrote books in their free time, and changed their lives because they refused to wait for permission. They created their own lane. You can do that too, but it requires a mindset shift. You have to stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a creator instead of asking, oh, what can I get? Start asking, oh, what can I make? What can I make? What can I offer? What can I contribute? The moment you start adding value, you start attracting opportunities. And don't underestimate the power of small, consistent action. Creating opportunity is not about one big break. It's about hundreds of little decisions that compound over time. Sending one email a day might not seem like much, but in a year, that's 365 chance to connect with someone who could change your life. Making one video a day might feel small, but in a year, that's 365 pieces of content that could open doors. Improving by just 1% every day might not seem significant, but over time, that growth multiplies. You don't need to do everything overnight. You just need to start and then keep going. The universe rewards movement. Momentum creates more momentum, but you have to be the one to spark it. Remember, too, that opportunities are often connected to people. Relationships open doors that talent alone cannot. If you want to create opportunity, you have to put yourself around the right people. Go where the energy is. Go where people are growing. Go where the conversations are happening that stretch you, challenge you, and inspire you. Surround yourself with people who are going places, and you'll find yourself moving too. Network. Network not to take, but to give. Look for ways to help others win, and in the process, you'll find that doors start opening for you. Opportunity flows through people, and the more value you bring to others, the more likely they are to bring value back into your life. Creating opportunities requires persistence because the first door might not open. Neither might the second or the 10th. But you keep knocking. You keep showing up. You keep improving. Every failure is a step forward because it's teaching you something. The grind is not glamorous, but it is necessary. People might laugh at you. They might doubt you. They might tell you to give up. You keep going anyway. Because the truth is, opportunities don't just happen. They're created by those who refuse to quit. The world eventually moves for the person who keeps moving forward. If you stay consistent, if you stay focused, if you keep planting seeds, one day you will wake up and realize that you are standing in the middle of a harvest you created with your own 2 hands. So stop waiting. Stop Stop looking at the clock. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop telling yourself you're not ready. You are ready enough to start. You may not be ready to finish, but you are ready to take the first step. And that first step is all that's required. Once you take it, the next one becomes clear, and then the next. And before you know it, you've created a path where there was none. That's how you build a life worth living. Not by waiting for it to happen, but by grinding every day to make it happen. Opportunity is not something you sit around hoping for. Opportunity is something you create through relentless action, through consistent effort, through courage and faith and persistence. Rise and grind because nobody's gonna hand it to you. You have to go out and make it yours. Push past comfort because comfort is the enemy of progress. And the truth is, most people stay exactly where they are in life because they never get uncomfortable enough to grow. Comfort feels safe, it feels easy, it feels familiar, but it also keeps you trapped. Comfort whispers to you, you're fine where you are. You don't need to try harder. You don't need to take that risk. You don't need to face that fear. And every time you listen, you stay stuck in the same routine with the same results, living the same life year after year. If you want something different, you have to be willing to feel something different. Growth and comfort cannot live in the same place. Every breakthrough you want is waiting for you just on the other side of discomfort, but you have to be willing to go through it. When you push past comfort, you step into a zone where real change happens. It's the place where you meet the strongest version of yourself, the place where you discover you're capable of more than you ever imagined. It's not fun at first. It hurts, scary. It feels like everything in you is telling you to stop, but that's the signal that you're in the right place. Discomfort means you're stretching. It means you're breaking old patterns and building new ones. It means you're growing into the person you said you wanted to be. Most people run from that feeling, but the successful ones lean into it. They recognize that discomfort is not the enemy. It's the training ground. It's where you sharpen your skills, where you build your mental toughness, where you earn the life you've been dreaming about. Think about the gym. When you lift weights, your muscles don't grow unless you push them past their comfort zone. You have to add resistance. You have to push until it burns, until it hurts, until you want to quit. That's the point where the growth happens. The same is true in life. Your mind, your character, your habits, they all grow when you put them under pressure, when you make them do more than they're used to doing. If you stay in comfort, you never build the strength to handle anything greater. Comfort zones shrink over time. If you keep choosing easy, your tolerance for challenge gets smaller and smaller until even small things feel overwhelming. But when you keep pushing yourself, your capacity expands. Things that once scared you become normal. Things that once felt impossible become routine. And that's when you start leveling up. Pushing past comfort also means facing fear head on. Fear is usually the biggest thing standing between you and the next level of your life. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of embarrassment, fear of losing, fear of change. All of these fears live in your comfort zone because they convince you to stay put. But the truth is, fear doesn't go away on its own. You have to face it. You have to step into the thing you're afraid of and prove to yourself that it can't control you. The first time you do, it's terrifying. The second time, it's a little easier. The third time, you start to realize that fear was mostly in your head. Every time you push past fear, you shrink its power over you. And soon, you become the type of person who acts in spite of fear, who doesn't wait until they feel brave to take action. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's moving forward while you're scared. And that only happens when you refuse to let comfort dictate your choices. Another important part of pushing past comfort is embracing pain as part of the process. Pain is not something to avoid. It's something to use. Pain teaches. Pain strengthens you. Pain shows you where you still have room to grow. Every failure, every setback, every hard moment is feedback. It's shaping you, refining you, preparing you for the bigger challenges ahead. But if you run back to comfort every time it gets hard, you miss the lesson. You miss the growth. You stay weak when you could have been strong. You stay the same when you could have been great. The people who rise and grind are the ones who make a decision. I will not run from pain. I will not hide from struggle. I will not choose the easy way just because it feels good right now. I will do what's hard now so I can live how I want later. Pushing past comfort also demands sacrifice. You might have to sacrifice sleep, entertainment, habits, relationships, old versions of yourself that no longer serve where you're going. That's not easy. That's why most people quit, because they're not willing to give up what's comfortable to gain what's possible. But everything you want is on the other side of sacrifice. The discipline you build when you let go of comfort becomes the foundation for success. Every time you choose to stay up a little later to finish the work, to wake up earlier to train, to put in extra hours when you rather be relaxing, you're casting votes for the person you're becoming. Those votes add up. And one day you'll wake up and realize you're living in the result of all those small, uncomfortable choices you made when nobody was watching. When you push past comfort, you also inspire others. People watch you, they see you doing what they were too afraid to do, and it gives them courage to try what Jimmy did. Your grind becomes contagious. Your willingness to step into discomfort gives permission to others to step into theirs. Before you know it, you're not just changing your own life, you're changing your family, your friends, your community. You become proof that it's possible. And that's a powerful responsibility, because the world needs more examples of what it looks like to break free from comfort and chase greatness. The truth is, there will never be a time when pushing past comfort feels easy. It will always feel like a battle, because your brain is wired to protect you from pain, to keep you safe. But safe is not where dreams live. Safe is not where greatness lives. Safe is where mediocrity lives, where regret lives. If you want to get to the next level, you have to make friends with discomfort. You have to expect it, welcome, even seek it out. The more you do, the stronger you get. The stronger you get, the more you can handle. And the more you can handle, the more life you get to experience. Comfort keeps you small. Discomfort makes you big. So push yourself. Push yourself to work harder than you thought you could. Push yourself to have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Push yourself to run farther, to study longer, to show up more consistently. Push yourself until the old you, the comfortable you, has no choice but to transform. That's how you grow. That's how you become the version of yourself you were meant to be. Every time you feel that urge to quit, that voice telling you to take it easy, to slow down, to go back to what's safe, recognize it for what it is. The comfort zone trying to pull you back, and then go a little further. Go one more rep, one more mile, one more phone call, one more hour of study. Prove to yourself that you can do it. Pushing past comfort is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's a daily decision. It's waking up every day and choosing the harder path, because you know that's where the reward is. It's building a habit of chasing challenges, because challenges make you better. And when you live like that long enough, discomfort becomes your new normal. You stop fearing it and you start craving it, because you know that every time you step into discomfort, you step into growth. That's the secret. That's how you keep rising and grinding day after day. You don't just accept discomfort. You embrace it, you seek it, you make it part of who you are. And as a result, your life keeps expanding. Your potential keeps growing, and you keep moving closer to the person you were created to be. Consistency is not glamorous. Consistency is not flashy. Consistency is not what gets applause on day one. But it's what separates the amateur from the professionals, the dreamers from the achievers, and those who almost made it from those who actually made it. Every single day, the world is watching, life is testing you, and your future is being written by the decisions you make. If you are serious about achieving greatness, you have to show up daily and give your best effort, even when no one is looking, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Success doesn't just appear overnight. It is a slow, steady build of habit, discipline, and small actions stacked on top of each other until they form a foundation that no one can knock down one more. Consistency is the brick-by-brick process of building the life you want, and is not optional if you want to win. Too many people start strong, but finish weak. They come out of the gate full of excitement, energy, and passion. But the moment the results don't show up as fast as they thought they would, they quit. They get discouraged. They get distracted. They look around at other people who seem to be ahead of them, and they start to compare their journey. And before they know it, they've lost their focus. But those who rise and grind understand that consistency is about trusting the process, even when the process is slow. You have to plant the seeds, water them, take care of the soil, protect it from weeds, and then wait for the harvest. Some seasons may feel like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, growth is taking place. Every small decision you make to stick with your routine, to honor your commitment, to show up and do the work, even when you feel like skipping, is adding up. Consistency requires patience, and patience is hard in a world that glorifies instant gratification. We live in a time where everyone wants results yesterday. They want quick money, quick fame, quick success. But anything that comes quickly usually leaves just as quickly. You can't build a strong house on weak foundations, and you can't build a strong life on inconsistent habits. You want to be great. You have to commit to the boring, repetitive, unsexy work day after day. You have to be willing to put in the reps, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Champions are made in the dark when no one is watching. Now I'm on stage when everyone's cheering. Consistency also requires discipline over feelings. There will be days when you don't feel like doing it. There will be days when you're tired, frustrated, overwhelmed, or just unmotivated. But consistency means you show up anyway. You do it because it needs to be done, not because you feel like it. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop waiting for perfect condition. You stop saying, I'll do it tomorrow. Because tomorrow turns into next week, and next week turns into never. You train yourself to do it today, to do it now, because you understand that every missed day sets you back. You understand that momentum is hard to build, but easy to lose. And once you break that chain, it's even harder to get it back. Consistency is also about trust. Trusting yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build confidence. Every time you follow through, you teach your mind and body that your words mean something. But every time you break your own promises, every time you say you're going to do something and don't, you erode your self-belief. You start to doubt yourself. You start to doubt yourself. You start to think maybe you're not capable. So if you want to build confidence, stop looking for external validation and start keeping the commitments you make to yourself. Wake up when you said you would. Work out when you said you would. Study, practice, grind when you said you would. That's how you earn your own respect, and that's how you become unstoppable. And here's the thing, consistency compounds. One day of work doesn't change much. 2 days, 3 days a week. You may barely notice the difference, but keep going for a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. And suddenly you look back and you don't even recognize the person you were when you started. Your habits have changed. Your discipline has grown. Your skills have sharpened. Your mindset has evolved. This is why most people never get to experience their full potential. They quit too soon. They pull the plug before the results kick in. You can't stop at 30 days or 60 days and expect a lifetime of success. You have to commit to being consistent until consistency becomes your identity. Consistency also protects you from burnout. When you are consistent, you don't have to rely on random bursts of energy or motivation. You have a system, a structure, a routine that carries you even when your emotions are up and down. It keeps you balanced. It keeps you focused. It allows you to make progress in small, manageable steps instead of crashing and burning after trying to do too much too fast. Slow progress is still progress. Slow progress is sustainable. That's why consistency beats intensity when it comes to building a life of greatness. Think about the greats in any field. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. They didn't get there by working hard once in a while. They got there by working hard every single day, by putting in the hours when no one was watching, by showing up on the days they felt like quitting. Kobe Bryant didn't become Kobe by accident. He was in the gym before sunrise, taking thousands of shots before practice even started. Michael Jordan didn't become the GOAT by skipping practice when he felt tired. He showed up and competed every single day. You don't get to greatness by being average some days and excellent on others. You get there by being consistent, excellent, relentless, disciplined every day. Consistency also sets you apart from the crowd. Most people are inconsistent. Most people only do the work when it's convenient. Most people quit when it gets hard. Most people stop showing up when the excitement fades. So if you just stay consistent, you automatically rise above the average. You don't have to be the most talented. You don't have to be the smartest. You just have to be willing to keep going when others stop. Talent might open the door, but consistency keeps you in the room. The grind is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's waking up every day and deciding I will not waste today. I will not take this gift for granted. I will do something that moves me closer to my goals. It might be a small step. It might be uncomfortable, but it's forward movement. And those forward steps add up. Sooner or later, you find yourself in a place you used to dream about, living a life you once thought was impossible, all because you stayed consistent. You cannot cheat consistency. You cannot cheat consistency. You cannot fake it. Either you do the work daily or you don't. And if you don't, the results will show. Life will expose whether you've been consistent or not. But if you stay the course, if you keep showing up, if you refuse to quit, the results will also show. And they will speak louder than anything you could ever say. People will look at you and wonder how you did it, and you will know the answer. I just kept going when everyone else stopped. Consistency is the key that unlocks every other door. You want more discipline? Be consistent. You want more confidence? Be consistent. You want to build wealth? Get fit, improve your relationships, grow in your career. Be consistent. Do the work day after day after day and refuse to let excuses, distractions, or feelings knock you off your path. So make the decision right now. No more starting and stopping. No more letting your emotions dictate your actions. No more waiting for motivation. Be consistent. Be relentless. Be the kind of person who shows up every single day no matter what, because that's how greatness is built. That's how dreams become reality. That's how you rise and grind and win. Outworking your competition's not about just working harder once in a while. It's about creating a standard for yourself that is so high, so relentless, no one else can match it. The truth is, most people are not willing to go as far as they say they are. They talk about what they want. They post about it on social media. They say they're hungry, but when it's time to do the work, they fall short. Outworking your competition means you do more than talk about it. You live it. You stay up later, wake up earlier, go the extra mile, put in the extra rep, do the thing others skip, and you do it every single day until it becomes your identity. This is not about beating someone else. This is about becoming the best version of you by refusing to let someone outwork you. When you decide that no one is going to outwork you, something shifts inside of you. You stop making excuses. You stop complaining. You stop worrying about how tired you are, how hard it is, how unfair life has been to you. You start focusing on the only thing you can control, your effort. Effort is the great equalizer. You might not have the same talent as someone else. You might not have the same resources, the same connection, the same opportunities, but you can control how hard you work. You can control how many hours you put in. You can control how focused and relentless you are. And that effort compounds over time until the person with less talent, but more grind passes the person with more talent who got lazy. Outworking the competition also means being willing to do what others won't. Most people want the result, but not the process. They want the trophy, but don't want to sweat. They want the body, but don't want to train. They want the business, but don't want to put in the long, nice building. This is why there is so much room at the top. Because most people quit before they get there. If you are willing to suffer a little more, sacrifice a little more, stay in the game a little longer, you will win by default because everyone else will tap out. They will say it's too hard, it's taking too long, it's not worth it. But if you rise and grind when others stop, you separate yourself from the pack. This also means learning to embrace the grind, not resent it. You can't outwork your competition if you hate the work. You have to fall in love with the process. You have to find joy in the pain and the repetition and the discipline it takes to keep going when you feel like quitting. The people who win at the highest level are the ones who learn to love the work more than they love the reward. The reward is temporary. The championship ring, the big paycheck, all of that fades. But the work, the growth, the process, that's what transforms you into a different person. That's what makes the reward meaningful in the first place. Outworking others also requires a level of focus most people simply don't have. You can't be everywhere, doing everything, distracted by everyone, and expect to beat people who are locked in on their goals. Focus is a superpower in a world full of distraction. When others are scrolling, you're studying. When others are partying, you're practicing. When others are sleeping in, you're up chasing your dream. And it's not just about working more hours. It's about working smarter during those hours, being intentional, cutting out wasted time, being laser focused on what moves you forward. There will be times when it feels like you're working harder than everyone else and still not seeing results. This is where most people quit. But if you are truly committed to outworking your competition, you understand that the results will come. They might not come today, tomorrow, or next week, but they will come if you stay consistent. Think about the farmer who plants seeds. He doesn't see crops the next day. He keeps watering, keeps caring for the soil, keeps protecting it, and eventually the harvest comes. The same is true for your grind. The work you do in silence when no one is watching is building a future that will eventually speak for itself. To outwork the competition, you also have to manage your energy. This is not just about doing more. It's about being able to sustain that effort for the long haul. That means taking care of your body, your mind, and your spirit. It means eating right, sleeping right, training your body so that it can perform when it's time to perform. You can't give your best if you're always drained. Outworking your competition isn't about burning yourself out. It's about creating a lifestyle where you can keep showing up at a high level for as long as it takes. You must also study your competition, not to copy them, but to know what they're doing so you can do more. If they're putting in 5 hours, you put in 7. If they're learning 1 skill, you learn 3. If they stop when they're tired, you keep going until you're done. This is how you separate yourself. This is how you create a gap so wide they can't catch up even if they wanted to. There will be sacrifices. I'm not saying outworking the competition means you will miss out on some things. You will have to say no to parties, to vacations, to comfort. You will have to spend late nights working when everyone else is sleeping. You have to push through pain, through doubt, through fear. But every sacrifice is an investment. Every hour you put in is building a future you can be proud of. Every time you choose work over comfort, you're building discipline that will pay you back later. And here's the best part. When you outwork your competition long enough, you stop having competition. You become the standard. You become the one others are chasing. You become the benchmark they measure themselves against. And that's when you realize that the real competition was never them. It was always you. It was about pushing yourself to see how far you could go, how much you could grow, how much you could endure. So decide right now that no one will outwork you. Not in your career, not in your craft, not in your relationships, not in your personal development. Decide that you are willing to go further, dig deeper, stay longer, push harder than anyone else. Decide that you will not quit when it gets hard, that you will not stop until you've given everything you have. When you rise and grind with this mentality, you become unstoppable because there is nothing anyone can do to outlast you. And remember, this is not about being the loudest. It's about being the last one standing. It's about being so consistent, so disciplined, so relentless that when everyone else is gone, you're still there, still grinding, still moving forward. Outwork them all, not just for a season, but for a lifetime. Outwork them until there's no doubt who wanted it more. Outwork them until your results speak so loudly that no one can deny your greatness. Outwork them until you inspire others to do the same. Because when you make that decision, when you truly commit to outworking everyone, there is no competition left. There is only you becoming the best version of yourself every single day. Chasing purpose instead of just money is one of the most powerful shifts you can ever make in your life. Money can motivate you for a little while, but it will never sustain you when the challenges come, when the setbacks hit, when you're tired, frustrated, and wondering if all this work is worth it. Purpose is what keeps you moving when the paycheck isn't enough. Purpose is what gets you out of bed at 4 a.m. Purpose is what gives meaning to the grind. What makes every sacrifice count. What makes every hour of work feel like it's leading somewhere bigger than just a bank balance. When you chase purpose, you are chasing something eternal, something that feeds your soul, not just your pocket. Too many people wake up every day just to survive. They go to jobs they hate, spend 8 to 10 hours doing something they don't believe in, then go home drained, feeling empty, counting down the days until the weekend. That is no way to live. If you are only grinding for a paycheck, you will burn out. You will resent the work. You will dread Mondays and live for Fridays. But when you grind for a purpose, every day feels like a step toward destiny. You You don't just live for the weekend. You live for the mission. You find meaning in the process, even when it's hard, even when no one is cheering, because you know what you're working toward matters. Chasing purpose means asking yourself the hard questions. Why am I here? What do I want my life to stand for? Who do I want to impact? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? These questions go deeper than how much money can I make? They go to the root of who you are and what you were created to do. When you answer them honestly, you will find clarity about where to put your energy, what to focus on, and what to let go of. Purpose becomes the compass that directs your decisions, the filter that helps you say yes to what matters and no to what doesn't. Purpose gives you power. When you have a strong enough why, you can endure almost anyhow. The people who are most resilient are not necessarily the most talented. They are the ones who are the most committed to their purpose. They will keep going through pain, through rejection, through failure, because quitting would mean betraying their mission. They understand that what they are doing is bigger than them, so they cannot stop. That is the kind of fuel you need if you are going to sustain the grind over the long haul. And here's the thing. When you chase purpose, the money usually follows. People who are driven by purpose produce work at a higher level because they care more. They innovate more because they are not just chasing profit. They are trying to solve real problems, trying to change lives, trying to make a difference. People notice that. The world rewards that. Your purpose attracts opportunities that money alone could never buy. But chasing purpose also means sacrifice. It means you might have to walk away from something comfortable, something that pays well, but drains your soul in order to pursue what sets your heart on fire. It means you might have to start at the bottom, take a pay cut, work longer hours, and endure criticism from people who don't understand your vision. It means you have to bet on yourself when no one else will. But the fulfillment you get from living in alignment with your purpose is worth every ounce of struggle. There is nothing more satisfying than knowing you are doing the thing you were born to do. When you grind with purpose, failure doesn't break you, it teaches you. Setbacks don't stop you, they sharpen you. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone because you understand that the mission changed. Purpose gives you perspective. It reminds you why you started in the first place. And it helps you push through the days when the grind feels heavy. Without purpose, those days will crush you. With purpose, those days will shape you. Chasing purpose also changes how you measure success. You stop comparing yourself to other people because your race is different. You stop trying to impress people who are not on your path because you realize their approval doesn't matter. You stop chasing trends and start chasing transformation. Your definition of success becomes about impact, about how many lives you touched, how many people you helped, how much you grew as a person. House, the car, the clothes, those are nice, but they are no longer the main reason you do what you do. Purpose also attracts the right people into your life. When you are clear about your mission, you begin to align with others who share your vision and values. You attract mentors, partners, and friends who push you higher, who challenge you to stay focused, who remind you of what you're capable of. And just as importantly, you naturally distance yourself from people who drain you, distract you, or pull you off course. Purpose gives you the courage to protect your energy and your circle because you know what's at stake. Living with purpose requires courage because it often means going against the crowd. It means saying no when everyone else is saying yes. No, it means taking risks, putting yourself out there, being willing to fail publicly. But courage is not the absence of fear. It's doing it anyway because the mission is more important than your comfort. When you chase purpose, fear becomes a sign that you're headed in the right direction because it means you are stepping outside your comfort zone into growth. Purpose is also what allows you to keep grinding when the applause stops. At some point, the novelty wears off. The excitement of starting something new fades. The likes, the praise, the support may disappear. If you were only doing it for recognition, you will stop. But if you were doing it for purpose, you keep going whether anyone is watching or not. You don't need validation because your validation comes from knowing you are living true to yourself. There is a level of peace that comes when you know you are living your purpose. Even on the hard days, there's a quiet satisfaction in knowing you are on the right path. That peace cannot be bought. Ketamine. You can have all the money in the world and still feel empty if you are not living in alignment with your purpose. But you can have very little and still feel rich if you are doing what you were created to do. So ask yourself, what do you want to be remembered for? When your life is over, what story do you want people to tell about you? Do you want them to say you made a lot of money, but wasted your potential? Or do you want them to say you lived with passion, you made a difference, you inspired others to chase their own purpose? That choice is yours, and it's made every single day by how you spend your time, your energy, your focus. Chasing purpose doesn't mean life will be easy. In fact, it might get harder because you will face resistance, you will face doubt. You will face moments where you question if you made the right decision. But purpose gives you the strength to keep going. Purpose turns pain into power, struggles into stories, trials into triumphs. Every difficulty becomes part of your testimony. And here's the ultimate truth. When you chase purpose, you rise and grind differently. Your grind becomes deeper, more meaningful. You are not just working for a paycheck. You are working to fulfill your destiny. You are not just going through the motions. You are building something that will outlive you. You are not just surviving, you are thriving. So stop chasing money as the goal and start chasing purpose as the mission. Let your purpose drive you, let it stretch you, let it scare you, let it wake you up every morning with fire in your soul. Because when you live for something bigger than yourself, the grind is no longer a burden, it becomes an honor. You stop asking, oh, do I have to? And start saying, I get to. You get to build, you get to grow, you get to serve, you get to leave this world better than you found it. And that is what life is really about. The grind is not glamorous, and that's what makes it powerful. The second keynote is about consistency, the relentless commitment to show up every single day, no matter what, no matter how you feel, no matter what the weather is like, no matter how many excuses try to talk you out of it. Consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be, and it's built one small brick at a time, day after day. People often underestimate the power of showing up, but greatness is not about one big moment. It's about thousands of small moments stacked together until they create something massive. Think about the athlete who practices the same move hundreds of times until it becomes second nature. The writer who writes page after page until they have a book. The entrepreneur who keeps trying idea after idea until one finally hits. They aren't necessarily the most talented people. They are the most consistent, and consistency beats talent when talent refuses to work. When you commit to being consistent, you are training yourself to stop negotiating with your feelings. Most people only work hard when they feel motivated, but motivation is temporary, it's fleeting, and if you rely on it, you will never reach your highest potential. The grind demands discipline, and discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. There are going to be days when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you feel like the results aren't coming fast enough, but those are the most important days to show up, because that's when you separate yourself from everyone else. Most people quit on those days, and if you can keep going, you automatically gain an edge. Consistency also builds trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, you strengthen your own confidence and belief in yourself. You start to realize that you are capable of following through, that you can count on yourself to keep promises, and that belief becomes fuel. On the other hand, when you skip the work, when you break your own promises, you weaken that trust, and it becomes easier and easier to let yourself off the hook the next time. So when you rise and grind every single day, you are not just working toward your goals, you are building your character, you are shaping your identity into someone who does not quit, into someone who can be counted on. This level of consistency is hard because the results are not immediate. In the beginning, it feels like nothing is happening. You put in the hours, you do the work, and you look around and wonder if it even matters. But just like a seed planted in the ground, growth takes time. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, you nurture it, and eventually you see the sprouts break through the soil. Consistency is the watering. It is the quiet work that eventually produces loud results. The danger is that many people stop watering too soon because they get impatient. They think it's not working, so they quit, and they never get to see what could have grown if they had just stayed the course. When you embrace consistency, you stop chasing quick wins and shortcuts. You realize that anything worth having is going to require and sustain effort over a long period of time. Success is not an event, it's a lifestyle. The grind becomes part of who you are, not just something you do when it's convenient. You wake up every day and you do the work, not because someone is watching, not because you are guaranteed a reward, but because it's the right thing to do for your future self. It's about creating momentum, and momentum compounds. The more days you show up, the easier it becomes to keep showing up because you have built a streak you don't want to break. Consistency also forces you to get better over time. When you do something every day, you naturally start to improve at it. Repetition is the mother of mastery. The first time you do something you might be bad at, but if you keep doing it over and over, you will refine your skills. You will get more efficient, and you will eventually reach a level where you are performing at a high level almost effortlessly. People on the outside will call you talented, but you will know it was the result of staying committed long enough for the process to transform you. You also begin to embrace boredom as part of the process. A lot of people fail because they get bored. They want excitement, they want constant novelty, but the grind is often repetitive. It's doing the same thing over and over until it becomes muscle memory. If you can learn to love the repetition, to find joy in the process itself, you will be unstoppable because most people won't last that long. They will get distracted. They will chase shiny objects, but you will still be there, stacking bricks, getting better, moving closer to your goals. Consistency is also contagious. When the people around you see you show up every day with the same energy and dedication, it inspires them to raise their own standard. You become a model of what is possible, and you start to attract people who are on the same mission, creating an environment that fuels growth. On the flip side, your consistency will also expose those who are not serious, and some people will distance themselves from you because your discipline makes them uncomfortable. That's okay. You don't need everyone's approval. You just need to stay true to your own path. And finally, consistency turns the grind into a habit. At first, it takes a lot of willpower to get up early, to put in the extra reps, to stay focused, but eventually it becomes part of your rhythm. It becomes automatic. You don't have to think about whether you're going to do the work. You just do it because that's who you are now. This is the point where success becomes inevitable because you are no longer relying on motivation. You are operating on a system. So when you rise and grind, understand that it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. Even if you can only give 60% one day, give that 60%. Even if it feels like you are moving slow, keep moving because slow progress is still progress. Over time, all those small steps will add up to something massive. Consistency is the secret weapon that will take you from dreaming about success to living it. The question is not whether you can do it once. The question is whether you can do it again and again and again until it becomes your lifestyle. If you can, there is nothing you cannot accomplish. You have made it through the grind, through the discipline, through the days when you wanted to quit but didn't. And now you stand here as proof that rising and grinding every single day was worth it. This conclusion is not just a wrap-up of words. It's a reminder that everything we have talked about is not just theory, but something you can live, breathe, and embody. The rise and grind mentality is not a momentary push. It's a lifetime commitment to being your best self. You have to understand that every single morning you wake up, you have been given another chance to get closer to your goals, another chance to do the work, another chance to be excellent. Life is not going to hand you what you want. You have to demand it, fight for it, and stay in the game long enough to earn it. This is not about luck. It is about preparation meeting opportunity. The rise and grind philosophy forces you to take ownership of your life. No more blaming circumstances, no more pointing finger, no more waiting for someone to rescue you. This is about stepping into your own power, taking responsibility for where you are and deciding where you are going to go. Every day you rise and grind, you take back control over your future. You say to yourself, I will not let my past dictate my destiny. I will not let fear paralyze me. I will not let comfort make me soft. You make a decision that nothing will stop you, and then you back it up with action. You see, people talk about wanting success, but wanting is not enough. Everybody wants to win until they see what it actually costs. The grind is the cost, the sweat is the cost, sacrifices are the cost. But the beautiful part is that when you pay that price, when you stay consistent, when you keep pushing through, you discover that the reward was worth more than you ever imagined. This conclusion is also about gratitude. Because when you rise and grind long enough, you realize that even the obstacles were blessings. The failures taught you lessons. The setbacks built your resilience. The criticism sharpened your focus. You stop resenting the hard days because you see how they shaped you into someone stronger. You begin to appreciate the process instead of just chasing the outcome. You wake up in the morning with a sense of purpose because you know that every day is another opportunity to get better. Gratitude fuels your hustle because it reminds you how far you have come and how much you still have to give. And we can't ignore the fact that rising and grinding changes the people around you. When you make the decision to be disciplined, to be focused, to be committed, you become an inspiration. Your kids, your friends, your co-workers, your community, they watch you and they see what it looks like to go all in. You give them permission to do the same. That is the power of living this lifestyle. It is not just about you winning, it is about pulling others up with you. The grind becomes bigger than you. It becomes a movement, a culture, a standard. People start to see that excellence is normal when you are around, and they raise their own game. The rise and grind journey is also about never being satisfied, not in an ungrateful way, but in a way that keeps you hungry. The moment you think you have arrived is the moment you start to decline. You have to keep finding new mountains to climb, new skills to master, new ways to serve and grow. Success is not a destination. It is a continuous journey of evolution. You are not the same person you were when you started, and you shouldn't be. The grind has matured you, it has humbled you, and has prepared you for bigger challenges. That is why you can't stop now. You owe it to yourself to keep going because there are still levels you haven't reached yet, still dreams you haven't brought to life, still people waiting to see what you are capable of. This conclusion is your call to action. It's easy to get fired up in the moment. Easy to feel motivated while you are listening to the words. But the real test comes tomorrow morning when the alarm clock goes off. Will you rise and grind when nobody is watching, when nobody is cheering you on, when it's just you and the work? That is the question that separates the dreamers from the doers. You have to decide that you are done talking about it and ready to be about it. If you really want it, prove it. Not once, not for a week, not for a month, but every single day until the results show up. And let's be clear, there will still be tough days ahead. Rising and grinding does not make life easier, it makes you stronger. There will be days you fail. There will be days you feel alone. There will be days you question whether it's all worth it. But those are the exact moments when you have to dig deep, remember why you started, and remind yourself that quitting will not get you there any faster. If you stay consistent, the breakthrough will come. It might not come when you expect it. It might not come how you expect it, but it will come. And when it does, you will be grateful you didn't give up. As we close, remember that this lifestyle is not about perfection. You will stumble, you will have off days, but the goal is to keep getting back up or cut under. Each sunrise is a reset, a fresh chance to give your best. You are not competing with anyone else. You are competing with the version of yourself from yesterday. Can you outwork them? Can you be more focused than they were? Can you push past one more excuse, one more distraction, one more reason to quit? If you can, then you are winning. You have everything you need inside of you to create the life you want. The grind is not something you fear. It is something you embrace because you know it is the path to greatness. And greatness is not for the chosen few. It is for those who choose to rise and grind every single day. So tomorrow when the sun comes up, let it find you already working, already pushing, already chasing what you said you wanted. You want it. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for someone to motivate you. Don't wait for permission. You have permission. You have permission. You have the power. You have the opportunity. The only question left is whether you will use it. This is your time. Your life will not change by accident. It will change because you decided that enough is enough, because you stopped wishing and started working, because you stopped talking and started doing. The rise and grind mentality is about ownership, about hunger, about refusing to settle for average when you were created for greatness. So go after it with everything you have. Make today count, then wake up tomorrow and do it again and again and again until the life you dreamed of is the life you are living, until the vision you saw in your head becomes your reality, until there is nothing left to prove because you have become exactly who you said you would be.